Welcome to Youth View, a forum for discussing contemporary issues relating to young people and by the young people. I remain your host, Pastor Elims, and I have with me some great young people today to discuss the issue we have for the day. And right next to me is a young man, and next to him a young lady.
Aqua Amelie.
And another young man.
Ishmael Anan.
We are pleased to be with you today and to share with you another exciting topic, and that is homosexuality. There is a growing concern today about the issue of homosexuality. And some people are asking the question, can I really be a homosexual and still be accepted in the family of God, the church? And today we want to really address the issue of homosexuality, because we live in a time today where there is a rising consciousness about the practice and the homosexual lifestyle. And it's also interesting that the governments of the world and political leaders are pushing and very strong on the issue of homosexuality. And on the other side, the religious bodies are also taking their stand on the issue. And today we just want to talk about it because we cannot remain silent on the issue. We are being confronted every day. We see some of our friends, some of our children, some of our loved ones taking to that lifestyle. And so today we want to address that issue because it has become a thing of concern to many today. And today we have our young people ready to delve into this issue, and I believe that they have some great things to share with us on the issue of homosexuality. And I think we would not take anything for granted today. I'd like us to begin by, having some clear understanding of what homosexuality is. So let's begin with my friend Ishmael to share with us what he understands homosexuality to be.
Well, I think homosexuality can be best explained when placed side by side heterosexuality. So heterosexuality is when a male develops a love affection for a female, and it's crowned with sexual intercourse or relations in that light. And so on the flip side, then you have homosexuality, where it is a male, and then a female and a female. I think basically that is the dynamics we have in explaining homosexuality.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Is anyone having something else to add to that?
I think that's what is already said. Homos, from the Greek word, same, with sexuality, so same sex. And Leviticus 18 defines it best by saying a man lying with another man just as a man lies with a woman. So that is what is captioned under the word homosexuality.
All right, thank you very much. Like I said, we're living now in a time when many people are, suddenly coming up and telling that they are homosexuals. Some say, well, they can't keep it anymore and things like that. And some of them belong to religious organizations, churches, and other religious faiths. And it's also creating some tensions within the religious bodies. And we also see that some religious organizations are already welcoming the ideas. We have even cases of some Christian bodies that have, accepted homosexuality in full, and even having some of their ministers ordained as homosexuals. But we still have some concerns as we look at the biblical data. And so let's speak to that issue. How would you respond to a situation where maybe someone who shares the same faith with you, as a Christian, wakes up one morning and tells you that he or she is attracted to someone of the same sex. How would you react to that, and what would be your response?
Actually, from my interaction with some homosexuals, they give some reasons. I was in a university of which name I will not mention, and met with one or two. And even before getting to that university, I was in a school of only boys school only. Here in this country in which we are, of which name I will not also mention. And so I met also some homosexuals there. For them, the first advocation they bring in is that they were born so. Actually, they are born with genes, or their genetic way of being, born is like, they don't feel like they are females, they don't feel like they are males. Well, they may have the body of a male, but their reactions, their tone of voice, they have breasts, we may say. Their way of speaking, their way of walking, their body morphology looks like the other side, you understand? And they feel much more comfortable. If they are men, they feel much more comfortable with, with females, And since they cannot really associate with females, they rely on male. And so they find that they have to be, having a love affection that a male should be given to a female, like male and male. Some are giving that response. Look, I was born that way. Some other people are feeling that, male are too much for female now. Male are too much, how will I say it? They are too much rude, and they are too much aggressive. So they don't feel like imagining themselves sleeping with males. No, they prefer females. It's much more cool and nice, I don't think I can think about it. A male coming to sleep with me. Oh, it's too hard and it's too painful. I prefer staying with a female. So these are the kinds of things they bring in, and I feel, well, this is another type of life we need to explore. Don't you discriminate me. This is my life. This is my body. This is what I've chosen. And so keep me away from all your, I need forcefully to be attached to a man, or a female had to be forcefully, you understand? So that is what I've been witnessing from those people. Yeah. And I feel free with that. I feel free with that.
Thank you.
If someone like that comes up, there are two things. You can claim that you were born that way. You can believe that you were born that way. But what we are trying to find out is, what does the Bible say now, right? So if we are looking from the biblical perspective, should I go into that?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Wow, it's a theology, born again.
So you start from Genesis and Adam and Eve, right? Adam had sex with Eve, they gave birth. God told them to reproduce and multiply, those two. You go to Leviticus, which he mentioned, and God said it clearly. A man should not sleep with a man as a man does with a woman, right? Else you'll be put to death. Thank you. You look at Genesis 19 about the Sodom and Gomorrah incident, and the men asked Lot to bring men for them to sleep with them. That's the Old Testament. You jump to Jude in the New Testament. They mention the same thing, that the way the people of Sodom did it, that's why they were destroyed. Their sexual immorality. You find this clear in the Bible. So from the biblical angle, it's a no. It is wrong. Not that we are trying to not even discriminate. Yes, discriminate is a negative word, right? But we have to first find out what the Bible is saying, and this is what the Bible is saying. It's wrong.
Well, from the Bible, they still go on further and mention names of people in the Bible figures, for them, Joseph and Potiphar, Jesus and John, the disciple that he loved so greatly, and notwithstanding, also the name of David and Jonathan. You know, when you read that account of David and Jonathan, you see that some of the words that were used by the writer could really help those people advocating that theology of born again. David loved Jonathan. Jonathan loved David greatly. You know, they kissed. Well, they embraced each other and they exceeded. And so they are saying these are words of the process of being indulging into sex.
Romantic relationship.
You understand? Thank you very much for the word romantic relationship. And so inside the Bible, you may find such people. And never once upon a time you could see the Bible saying, look, if you are homosexual and you accept the Lord, you are going to be destroyed. No. So why are you guys discriminating us, segregating us as if we are, look, after sin, we are not sinning, we are into sinfulness. That is, people are born with the tendency of drinking alcohol, with the tendency of smoking, or because of sin we are falling sick. You get it? Or we are handicapped when we come to the world. Some people with a heart. So we also are coming to this world being gay. Come on, what's the problem about that?
You see, I think that it is fair for us to appreciate those who make that argument that they were born natural homosexuals. A conversation with a scientist friend told me that actually human beings are born with both genes, that of a man and that of a woman. The one which dominates your genetic makeup is what enables you to react the way you do. And so I am a man, but then if my genes were, the female genes dominated more, then I'll be acting more like a lady. And so I think that is well established, and no one is against that. What we are trying to establish, as Ikuya said, is the fact that it is wrong. It's the same as saying that someone drank and was wrong, someone stole and it was wrong, someone fornicated and it was wrong. I think we should attach the same level of wrongness as we do to the others. Now, there will be some hope for such a person if the person should come to a realization of the state he's in and admits that it is wrong. And I think that is where probably Christians do not do well. So rather than helping them come to a realization of, yes, this is my natural state, but it is corrupted because we are in a sinful world, and so get born again and get to appreciate a new living style, we rather go ahead and condemn them. And that makes them cringe, so that they don't even want to listen to anyone who tries to advocate for them or lead them onto a new life. I remember Andrews University had set up a center to give psychological advice and counseling to people, homosexuals. And the comments I read on Facebook, people were against it. How can a religious institution like Andrews University set up a center like that? But really, this is what such people need. They need counseling for them to appreciate their state and know that there will be, there's a way out. Since it is wrong, there can be a way out. I'm sure we can move on from there in the conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you are, you've said well, but that is if they really understand or accept that what they're doing is wrong, because on the contrary, they are advocating that you accept them the way they are.
You should accept them the way they are.
You accept them on equal grounds as you have the heterosexuals. You give them all the rights, like you would give to a heterosexual relationship.
I think that they have that stance, like I said, because of how we relate to them. You see, there's something about sin. Once you are condemned publicly, I think it's natural for any sinful human being to want to react and actually defend the sin. So I go and steal, Ikuya sees me and comes to the church and announces that I have stolen. Come on, I'm a human being. I would want to defend that image of mine. So I think it's about how we get them to appreciate their state. It's high time we give a second look to how we get them
The
to
approach
appreciate it.
in
I
which
mean,
I
you
think
have
it's a
people
very good point.
vociferously speaking on radio. They are sinning, it is wrong, it is abomination. Yes, it is, but sometimes
The
how
approach
you
in
talk
which-
about a sin.
That's very good.
Thank you very much
Very good
for
point.
highlighting that point, because you know, we can also sin in by the way we try to help our
That's right.
brother
Yeah.
That's
or
right.
sister who is in error, like Paul would say in Galatians chapter 6. I mean Ephesians chapter 6. Sorry, Galatians 6, yeah. So, yes, it's important that we are careful, you know, how we approach the issue, because in the process of doing so, we can even cause more damage. But now let's come back to our starting point. Having said all we have said, do you think that it is possible to remain a homosexual and still be faithful to scriptures and in fact be a full-fledged member of a Christian organization, especially because we want to narrow it down now to Christianity, especially in the light of the biblical text?
All right.
Do you think it's kind of compatible to be a homosexual and be faithful to scriptures and be fully integrated into the church life?
Okay. You know, we've established that it's a sin, right?
Yeah.
And
Just like drinking and stealing.
oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
like
Yeah, I
any
just
other
want us to be
sin,
clear
just
on
like
that.
any
Yeah.
other sin.
It's a sin,
Yes.
right? They said if you keep all 9 commandments, but you offend in one, you are guilty of all,
Yeah.
right? So if you are straight, you don't fornicate, you don't do anything bad, but you steal, you've still offended, you've broken the whole law.
Yeah.
It's the same for homosexuality. You cannot say that I am a Christian when you do not accept that this is sin and this is something I have to overcome. Because we are all sinners. We all came to the church. Maybe my problem is not homosexuality. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's pride.
Yeah.
You know? But we all come and we decide that we want to overcome it by the strength that Christ gives us. So if we are going to overcome it, you should also be ready to overcome it and not stay in your sin and say, that is it. I'm supposed to be given every privilege, allowed to be a minister, do everything I want to do, but I'm homosexual. It's a sin.
In the book of, may I say, the epistles to the Corinthians, you know, the city of Corinth was renowned for its pagan worships and the pagan temple. And inside these pagan temples, any kind of immorality was taking place. Whether you want homosexuality or prostitution or all kinds of immoral stuff. And you know, with the love and the passion that God has given to Paul to preach the gospel wherever he was going to, he went and preached there and asked them to leave the world and join Christ. You understand? So, in other words, leaving the world means leaving the world and its follies, leaving the world and all kinds of things that are attracted and attached to the world. Come inside the church and leave those things. Live a new life because you have been washed, you have been sanctified, you have been set aside. In other words, you joining the church means you should leave the things of the world. Don't bring in the things of the world inside the church. As if you were cleaned outside a house and you want to bring in all your, as we call it in Africa, your nyama inside the house. Are you getting the point? So we are saying, in other words, if you really want to join the church wholeheartedly. Instead of being born again, be born again as you join the church.
Well, on the contrary, I think the nyama things should also come to church. That is where Jesus is, and that is where we find healing. Recently, I posted on Facebook that sometimes the church is the worst place to be when you have messed up as a Christian. And it is really, really sad. I mean, where then do we go for healing?
It should be the opposite.
Exactly.
Because that's where we should bring all our mess.
But then again, you should be ready for the mess to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So appreciate
That's
the
what we are
fact that
saying.
you are sinful.
If you
but
accept
don't-
coming into the church, you should be ready to drop it. That's what we are saying.
Exactly.
We are
So
not
don't
saying come
come in-
with it to the extent of relaxing in it.
Yeah.
You understand?
And
I can do otherwise. You have to accept it.
or surprisingly, rather, this is what some of these homosexuals are clamoring
That's
for.
the point.
They want to stay homosexual and be fully integrated into the church life.
To be recognized
Yes.
as full members
Yes,
of this church.
Yes, they want to have every right of a church member and every right that any heterosexual relationship would have and anybody else will have in every sense of it.
Well, I was making a point. So, of course, the Church of God deals with discipline. And so there is a point to which the church works with you to get you to change. And after a point, I mean, the church will have to discipline you so that it would serve as a deterrent to other people. That is why we don't accord the same rights to people who are in known sins, and after they have been talked to, they still don't want to change. But the main point I wanted to make, when you read Luke chapter 5, verse 36 to 39, Jesus spoke a parable. And I think this parable captures our situation as Christians. Verse 36 says that no man putteth a piece of new garment upon an old. If otherwise, then both the new maketh a rent, and the piece that was taken out of the new agreeth not with the old. Verse 39. No man also, having drunk an old wine, straightway desireth new, for he saith the old is better. It is going to take a long while for sinful beings as we are, including homosexuals, to straightway appreciate the new. So for someone who believes he was born with it, it's going to, sometimes I think it might take a long time. I mean, sometimes a lifetime. But appreciating the grace of God and putting in an effort to change is what saves us. And so the point is still worth reiterating that we do not condemn them. Let's implore them, let's entreat them to appreciate the graces which Christ provides for all sinners, including my own weaknesses. And I'm sure that sometime there will be hope and they can change.
Added to that is when you read the book of Revelation, especially the 8th chapter, you see that those who are mentioned there as the 144, when you look at the different names of each of the children of Israel, you see how evil they are.
That's right.
Evil, I mean, what they have done as conduct.
Yeah.
Very evil. Killing, doing
true.
all kind of things.
That's true.
But their names are written there. And that will be very frustrating to all those homosexuals who, let me say, maybe would make the kingdom of God. They say, oh my God, this guy was also there. God would tell them, or as it is written in the Bible, they have washed their robes in the blood of the lambs.
Right.
And the robes are what? The conduct. The words that we did. And so if we allow the Spirit to transform us, I'm sure that the Spirit will do a great work in their lives.
That's right.
If we just allow, I am homosexual, Lord, what do you want to do through me? I think the first thing God will say is to say, I want to change you first of all. I want to change you. I want to make you a new pot again. Yeah.
That's right.
I think they should give themselves to God.
That's right.
And God will do greater things through them.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, and we'll be taking our final thoughts now. As we go further, I would like us to make our final words to our friends and our viewers and those who have loved ones, friends, relatives who have declared themselves to be homosexuals in different ways. What can we say to such people who are really struggling with these things? Some of them you find parents, having children who have come to that declaration in their lives and stuff. So what can we say to them?
Well, this is a topic I'm very passionate about. I feel that there's too much pretense in Christianity. And I want to appeal to anyone who is watching and is found in this web that don't give up. If you find yourself with negative Christians who would make you feel so bad that you don't want to go to church, avoid them and maybe go to your pastor or maybe go to someone else who will be positive. Trust me, God loves such people. It is for such people that he came. And if he's able to save a thief, a drunkard, womanizer, fornicator, as myself or any other person, trust me, we'll go at any length to save you too. So just don't give up and allow the Spirit of God to work through you.
Thank you.
My advice to those who are struggling with loved ones, family members who are engaged in this, reach out to them as Christ reached out to the woman at the well, the woman who was caught in adultery. Reach out as Christ reached out and pray. God works wonders. Let us be Christ-like in everything we do.
Thank you.
Deep in the heart of God is for every human being to continue to reproduce the image of God in likeness of human beings. That is reproduction, spread, multiply. And anytime any human being has tried to hinder that work, God showed himself mightily in destruction. In the case of the Tower of Babel, in the case of the son of Jacob, in all those cases when they have tried to hinder that plan of reproducing, God has always come up with something to destroy the persons. And I want to tell you that God has given you his power. He has given you his authority.
That's right.
He has given you Jesus Christ. He has given you the Holy Spirit. And he's given you every day the angels. And he's ready to rescue you out of that condition if only you accept him in your life and you ask him to come and transform you. You will see how God will change you. And you'll be a testimony unto generations.
Thank you very much. And I think we are all saying the same thing, that in the first place, homosexuality is a sin like we have any other sin. And we should not make our church, we should not make our environment unfriendly to them. We should try to reach out to them in love like Jesus would do. And in fact, we should pray for them. We should support them.
That's right.
You know, like we would want to reclaim any brother or sister that's overtaking in any fault. But we must also point out their sin in love.
That's
You
right.
know, because like you rightly said, if we, even in doing something good, don't go about it the right way, there will be that reaction. Because nobody wants to be exposed as the bad person in a society.
That's right.
Everybody wants that protection, that love, that acceptance. So we should be conscious about that when we deal with them. And we should make them feel at home, even when we disapprove of what they are doing, just like we would want to win any other person. And I believe, and I think we all believe that if we go that route, we would be reclaiming and saving so many that we are losing today. But we must not, you know, like the world is advocating, accept them the way they are and give them all the rights and not help them make positive changes in their lives. Thank you very much, and I hope that we share these ideas with our friends, our loved ones everywhere. God bless you all.